Hey guys, today we are going to be making these really cute macrame pumpkins. The supplies you will need is this wire pumpkin frame that I got from the dollar store and this 4mm cotton single strand macrame cord from Ganxxet. I am going to be making my main pumpkin in this beige color and using the orange for the stem. To start, you will need to cut 6 cords at 140 inches long. This will be for the center of your pumpkins. You will also need 2 more cords at 195 inches long, and this will be for the outer part of your pumpkin. You will also want to cut 1 more cord. I am using this orange one for the stem, and that will be at 80 inches long. To start, you're going to grab 1 cord that you cut at 140 inches, fold it evenly in half, and you're going to start by working on the inside of the pumpkin. Fold that cord around the wire, and you are going to make a square knot around it. Now that you have your square knot, you will continue to do this all the way down. I do just start it in the middle of the pumpkin. It is easier, and then once I have a few knots, I'm going to just push it up. A little suggestion, I did tape it down. It helped hold the ring down and it was easier to make knots. So once you have several square knots all ready to go, you're gonna go ahead and just push that sinnet knot all the way up, kind of evenly spread it out, and then you're gonna continue on making all the square knots completely down your pumpkin. The bottom part can get a little tricky too, so just kind of push those knots up as much as you can and fill in as many square knots as you can just to reach the bottom. And now that you have your first part of your pumpkin completed, you will do that 5 more times to finish the center of your pumpkin. And this is what it should look like once you have 6 of your pumpkin parts already filled in with all of your square knots. Next, grab 1 of your cords that you cut at 195 inches. You're going to fold it evenly in half, and you're going to do the same exact thing, except for you will be starting at the top of the pumpkin. Okay, for this, I did hang it on my clothing rack and S-hook. It is much easier to work at the top and down when it's hanging. So you're going to do the same exact thing. Take your cord and fold it evenly in half, and you will start where the wire meets the stem, and you will just make a square knot. I normally can fit about 5.5 square knots within these little sections right here. In between here, I had enough for 5 square knots, and then I did a half knot right here, and then I will finish completing that square knot on the opposite side of where that cord is. So right here, you'll finish that square knot on the opposite side of the wire, and it is sometimes a little tricky. You just have to maneuver the cord just to kind of get it to fit perfectly there. And then once you have that, you're going to go ahead and complete the exact same thing, square knots all the way down. Once you are at the bottom of your pumpkin, you're going to then connect these. That end of the cord is going to stay with the wire and act as your filler cord. And you're going to want to make a square knot directly around those cords and your wire. I like to make around 2 or 3 square knots. That way it keeps those center filler cords really tight and it's not going anywhere. Once you have finished your square knots, go ahead and grab your scissors and you can just trim up those center filler cords that you were working around. And once you have trimmed up those center cords, you're going to continue the same steps by repeating square knots until you are about halfway through the bottom of the pumpkin or until you have just a little bit left of your working cord. And once you finish with your first side of your pumpkin, you're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Grab your cord that you cut at 195 inches and start at the top of the pumpkin by its stem by making a square knot around the wire. And once you have your square knot, you are going to do the exact same thing, making square knots all the way down the side of your pumpkin. And once you're at the bottom of the pumpkin, you're going to do the same thing you did before, taking those hanging cords and adding them to the center as your filler cords and working a square knot around them. Again, once you've made a few square knots, go ahead and then trim up that center cord and you can continue making square knots all the way down. And now that your knots have reached the other side of your pumpkin, you're just going to go ahead, take your scissors and trim up those center cords that you used as your filler cords on each side of the pumpkin. Once you trim them, I just took one side of the pumpkin and I just folded those cords in the back and then continued to make a square knot around them and the ring just to secure those cords into the back of the pumpkin. And now that you are done, this is what it should look like. You can go ahead and take your scissors and just trim up the center cords right there that you had made your square knots around. Next, you'll grab the 2 remaining cords and you're going to just tie a little overhand knot on the inside of that pumpkin so it won't be seen. Trim up your knot, and I like to take this Aleene's Fabric Fusion sticky glue and I'm just going to go ahead and put a few dots of the glue where I trimmed up both those cords just to make it sure it's tight and secure and that cord is not going to go anywhere. And now you are done with the main part of your pumpkin, and this is what it should look like. Next, you're going to go ahead and grab that last cord that you cut at 80 inches. This is going to be the cord for your stem. You can use any color you'd like. I love this orange color from Ganxxet, and it helps make the pumpkin just kind of pop. Grab that cord, fold it evenly in half, and you're going to wrap it around the base of the stem and make a square knot. You're going to do the exact same thing you did with the main pumpkin, except for this time we're just doing it around the stem. So I did end up moving it to my clothing rack. It does make it easier to work on these a little bit. So if you have a clothing rack and an S-hook, sometimes I suggest just making these little pumpkins, hanging them instead of on the table. When you get to the bottom, that part can be a little trickier to just go ahead and flip your pumpkin around. The one thing I kept wanting to do was put my working cord on the bottom of the wire instead, right there, instead of the top. It just kept tripping me up every single time. So once you get that down, the inside part is actually really easy. And once you are done with your stem, you're going to take the 2 cords and tie a nice good double knot in the back of your pumpkin real tight, that way it cannot be seen. Go ahead and grab your scissors, trim up the cord, and again, I do like to take the glue and just give a little dot on each side, that way it stays nice and firm and your cord is not going to go anywhere. And there you have it. You have completed your macrame pumpkin using the dollar store frame, and I hope you loved it. Have fun, enjoy, experiment with many colors, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more macrame tutorials. Thank you for watching.